Hey, it's Mark Sports and MTC Media here for Georgetown, South Carolina. But first, we're going to wrap up Maryland and Illinois last night, the 71-66 win by the Terps in front of a sold-out crowd out there at College Park Infinity. Again, this was taped last night right after the game. Enjoy. Come back to me because a little later this morning, we'll have our preview for Georgetown and South Carolina. Maryland started out this game pretty hot here. They got going really, really quick. Defensively in the first half, I thought they were really, really good. Great perimeter defense. Didn't let Illinois take advantage of the size early on in the game. And as Illinois struggled a bit on offense, Maryland did not. They got some big shots from Young, who, like I said, finished with 24. Keem Hart had some good shot. Dante Scott also. But for Maryland, the defense was so good, and it could not be said enough how they took Illinois out of their kind of like their rhythm, including Terrence Shannon, who we thought that would be such a tough matchup, and it was. But the one thing that Maryland did was they made him work for everything. So when you look at the box score, you said, well, he shot 8 for 17. He had 21 points, had 7 rebounds. Those 17 attempts were energy draining because Maryland was playing him so hard, so tough on defense that he had to take out every ounce of energy just to get shots off. And this goes back to the Danny Manning partial era when he used to say with great players, what you want to do is you want to make them work throughout an entire game, as opposed to saying, oh, we're going to shut them down. And Manning used to say it all the time, for a lot of the top players, you're not going to shut them down. But if you make them work for everything they get, it is a win for your team. And I thought that Kevin Willard's crew tonight did that with Terrence Shannon, and they talked a little bit about it at the press conference. Hey, Coach. Just your scout on Shannon and then how you executed tonight. It seemed like even when he scored, you made him work so hard to score. Just what's your first impression of how you guys played him tonight?
I thought we played him pretty good. I mean, if I was an NBA general manager, I'd be drafting that dude. He can do it all. I'm really impressed. I didn't think he was that big, and then he walked by me in warm-ups, and I was like, man, that dude's big. The biggest thing we want to do is not let him get going from 3. I mean, you've watched the UCLA game. UCLA was kind of controlling that game, and then he just went off. And, he's a high-level player, and I think what I'm really impressed with him about is he's a high-level defender too.
Again, this is Marcus Washington here out at College Park, wrapping up Maryland, Illinois. For Illinois, it's a tough one. This is the second kind of loss going down the stretch where it was a few possessions and they did not execute very well. Now, Underwood, I asked him about it because, again, they lost to UVA earlier this year where it was a situation where they couldn't get their offense to execute down the stretch. Tonight, it was the same thing. Illinois down the stretch offense could not operate on this defense, whether it was UVA or whether it was Maryland. In fact, Kevin Willard got him on a good one where after an Illinois timeout, Illinois throws it in and they trap the first pass. And Illinois has to take another timeout. Now, you can say it didn't make a play down at the end. It might have made a play because maybe Illinois plays down the end a little bit different if they have 2 timeouts instead of 1 timeout. But it's a great move by Kevin Willard. But I asked Underwood, is there a concern for not being able to execute down at the end, and would there be any carryover from it? Hey, Coach, you've had a couple of close losses down the stretch, just a few possessions. As a coach, how do you ensure that execution gets better in those moments and it just doesn't snowball into one close loss to another close loss?
Yeah, it's just we're learning to win a possession. We're the second youngest team in the Power 5. Second youngest. So how do you get experience? I think Jameer's been in a few ball games. Dante's been in a few ball games. So there's some learning curve. Now, is that a damn excuse? No, we got really good players. They're really tough. And they fought from 12 down against a great team. It'll come. It'll come. I'm not making not making a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, J-Dep's got a wide open look, and then let's see how they react when they're down. But just missed a shot, and they made a play on their offensive rebound.
Again, Maryland 71-66 over Illinois. You will catch me Saturday tomorrow, Georgetown, tomorrow at noon. Join me for the pregame a little bit earlier that day, and we'll see how the Hoyas can fare tomorrow afternoon with an early tip for me. It is after midnight. I still have to go back to Virginia, so I'm going to sign off early. Everyone have a good night, and congrats to Kevin Willard. First Big Ten game, first Big Ten win. It's Marcus Washington from MTC Media.